Hey, beautiful souls. So, if you've been on TikTok or YouTube lately, you've probably seen people talking about September 23rd and the so-called Rapture. Some were expecting something to happen on the 23rd, like bodies rising, chaos, disappearances. There are stories circulating that people literally gave away their cars, houses, and money. But here we are. Nothing like that happened. But does that mean it was all fake? That the prophecies were wrong? While I know that Ahaya, or source, didn't tell anyone the rapture was that day, there are signs in the spirit around certain days and times. So what I will say is that while these people spreading false rapture stories weren't intentionally lying, hopefully, they were, however, looking through the wrong filter. Because what I'm about to show you is that the rapture isn't about floating into the sky. It's about a timeline shift. It's about frequency, spiritual identity, and a war over your soul. And it all began with a very real event that happened in the heavens on September 23rd, 2017. The sign and the birth. On that date, September 23rd, 2017, there was a rare astronomical alignment that perfectly matched Revelation chapter 12. A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. That woman was Virgo, the Virgin. The sun was at her shoulder. The moon was at her feet. A crown of 12 stars, Leo, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, was at her head. And most importantly, Jupiter, the king planet, had spent 9 months in her womb before exiting the constellation on 9/23. The woman gave birth to the man-child. Now, some people talk about this happening in 2012. And yes, something was happening spiritually around that time. It was like the woman entered labor in 2012. But the literal sign in the heavens, the sun, the moon, the crown of stars, Jupiter in the womb, that happened on September 23rd, 2017, just shortly after the August 21st Great American Eclipse, which was the first of 2 total solar eclipses. The second one was last year in 2024, just 7 years later. These signs are very significant. That was the moment of birth. The Revelation 12 child was brought forth. And that's when many of us began to awaken. My awakening started in 2001 on September 11th, and in 2015, I was going through the fire. Right after the September 23rd sign happened in 2017, it was as if I, myself, and others were catapulted into awakening. This was a literal birth sign in the heavens. Now, here's what they don't tell you. The man-child in the prophecy doesn't just represent Jesus. It represents a collective birthing. The first fruits, the children of light, the ones encoded to wake up at the appointed time. This was a spiritual signal to the forerunners. It's time. And many of you watching began waking up right around that time. You started questioning the system. You started seeing differently. You began hearing the spirit. The birth had begun. The dragon, the poison, and the wilderness. But the story doesn't stop there, because right after the child is born in Revelation 12 comes the dragon. Revelation 12, 3 and 4. An enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on its heads. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. This red dragon is the entire fallen system. The false kings, the religious empires, the tech gods, the media puppets, all crowned by darkness. And when it moved, it swept a third of the stars from heaven, a third of the divine light. That means some of us, some of you watching this, you were part of that fall, but not to be lost, to awaken, and to help lead the way back. I know for a fact that I volunteered to be here right now to help in this shifting, this great awakening. So what happened soon after the birthing in 2017? The pandemic, the lockdowns, the fear, the programming, and the jab, the serpent's bite, designed to suppress the awakening and sever the light codes that were activating. This wasn't just a health crisis. It was a spiritual war to devour the ones who had just awakened. But Revelation 12 tells us next, the child was caught up to the throne. That doesn't mean we floated away. It means many of us were spiritually sealed, hidden, protected, sent deeper into remembrance. We began remembering our real identity, authority, and gifts. Even if life got messy, you were still being guarded. And then it says, the woman fled into the wilderness for 1,260 days. The divine feminine went underground. The Magdalene ones, the healers, the voices of truth. We were hidden for 3.5 years, a time of deep inner work, purging religion, healing from trauma, deconstructing the lie. Most of us at that time were living quiet lives, not getting the jab, not wearing the mask, and not worrying or being scared about what was happening. We were being taught how to really walk in spirit and truth. You may have felt that too. Maybe you were isolated. Maybe your gifts exploded. Maybe you felt the fire but didn't know why. That was the wilderness, the incubation of the new earth frequency. What's happening now? Now here we are in 2025 and things are shifting again. Revelation 12 says next, there was war in heaven. And if you don't know, that war is here. It's not bombs and fire in the sky. It's a war of consciousness, of identity and frequency. People are either waking up fast or falling hard into deception. That's why we're seeing a false revival in religion, politicians pretending to be messiahs, celebrities becoming prophets of darkness, and the pressure to go back to the old system. Have you noticed the push for Catholicism lately? This came right off the front page of Google. In 2025, there has been a notable increase in Christians converting to Catholicism, particularly among young adults, with some dioceses reporting rises in new converts by as much as 70%. Many cite a desire for the structure and beauty of Catholic rituals, as well as a search for deeper meaning in their faith, often influenced by online resources and personal exploration during the pandemic. Candace Owens, anyone? I followed her over the years and often wondered exactly what was going on there. But as soon as she converted to Catholicism, I knew she was a part of their club, the one we aren't in. Back to Revelation 12, 7 through 9. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth and his angels with him. What this is saying is that the dragon failed to stop the first awakening. So now he's going after the remnant. You've seen the rise of Satan worship over the past few years. They are blatant with it because this is Satan's time on earth. He's after the woman, the divine feminine, the light bearers, the ones who are waking up and cannot be controlled. There are two groups moving through this Revelation 12 timeline. The first were the man-child, those who awakened early, went through intense purging, and were spiritually sealed and sent ahead. Unfortunately, some of those early ones haven't made it completely through all the gates. And now we're seeing the bride awaken, the younger souls, the late bloomers, the harvest generation. That may be you. If you're just waking up and finding this information, then you are part of the bridal army. And let me assure you that you are a target right now for the beast. And these people need guidance, protection, and truth, because the dragon's still hunting. First fruits were the ones caught up and sealed, and now we are being sent out to teach. And now the bride is rising. And together we prepare the way for the return of the light. The dragon rages because he failed. He couldn't stop the child from being born. He couldn't stop the wilderness walk, and now he cannot stop the remnant from rising. Revelation 12 closes by saying, "Then the dragon was enraged at the woman and went off to make war against the rest of her offspring, those who keep the commandments of God and hold fast their testimony." That's us. We are the offspring. We are the continuation of the story. And we hold the testimony, not of religion, not of systems, but of truth, of the living word, of light that cannot be put out. We are not victims in this war. We are the ones written about, the ones encoded for this hour. Some of you are the ones who were sealed in 2017 and have walked through the fire. Some of you are just now waking up, hearing the trumpet inside your soul. Either way, you're being called to awaken, to remember, and to rise. So, if you've been asking, why am I here? Why is life so intense right now? Why do I feel like I've lived through something huge and unseen? It's because you have. This is your wake-up call. This is your scroll being opened. This is your moment in the story. You carry codes the dragon cannot touch. You were marked before time began. The rapture has begun, but not in the way they told you. It's not about disappearing. It's about remembering and rising and reclaiming the throne within you. We're moving from survival to sovereignty, from religion to revelation, and from captivity to coronation. The light is rising. The gate is open. And you, yes, you, are a part of this holy uprising. If this message stirred something in you, that's not an accident. Comment below and let me know if this resonated. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to keep walking this path together. Until next time, be blessed. Namaste.